Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We're going to be talking about unified customer data and CDPs, and how we can help it win at our dealerships. And so, like I said, we're going to talk about our built-in CDP customer data platforms for those that are new to CDPs, what it is, essentially why it matters, especially right now, and the value that it's going to bring to your dealership and your customers. Before we dive in, just a little housekeeping. I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Anu Roberts. I'm the Senior Director of Product Marketing here at CDK. And I'm going to be joined by a couple of our product leaders we're going to be doing some live demos with you. Brian Abrams, who's our VP of our data intelligence, and Jason Munson, who is our Director of Product for Modern Retail. We are going to have a brief Q&A session at the end, and so I would encourage you, as we're going throughout this presentation, to put your questions in the Q&A feature on your screen up above. So let's dive in and get started. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the market today. We're seeing CDPs shift from optional to more of a necessity. We know dealers like you are battling a lot of data fragmentation. With outdated data, incomplete, duplicative data, just inconsistent customer records that are really scattered across a whole host of your applications, right? So think of your core applications like the DMS, CRM, service, parts, digital retailing tools, and just the dozens of third-party systems that you guys operate in your day-to-day. And you've got customer records in each of those areas and customer information about your customers in each of these areas. And so you've got bits and pieces of information. So it's really difficult for you to kind of get that full picture. And research shows really about half of dealer customer data is actually accurate. That has to do with the fact that that information is siloed across and you're not having either the visibility or being able to kind of aggregate all that data. And also, about 20% of customer records include the vehicles the customer no longer owns. So you can imagine what that effect is, right? It's directly tied to lost revenue, wasted marketing spend, and really missed service opportunities. Think about the experience where you're reaching out, and I've actually had this happen to me personally, where I've gotten a mailer for a vehicle that I sold a year ago, but the dealership doesn't realize that I sold that vehicle. And so it just, it's not the best experience that you want to provide and put forth for your customers. We also know that poor data quality is often a barrier to AI adoption and its effectiveness. And this is coming up, I would say, more and more. This NADA, there was all the buzz of AI. Last NADA, same, everyone was talking about AI. So it's very top of mind. And as dealers are looking to really adopt and optimize AI, it's really the foundation they're realizing is all about their data quality and what they're feeding it. There's a saying that our CEO says a lot, artificial intelligence without the data is just artificial. And so, and that is so true. So CDPs aren't optional anymore. Most dealers know this, and having a unified customer identity and profile is now really a very essential requested feature. And we're stepping into that with our uniquely built-in CDP, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's talk about the cost of dirty data. I kind of touched on it on the slide before. It's really not a matter of just an inconvenience anymore. It is really truly actively draining profitability. Inaccurate records, sabotage outreach, like I mentioned. It's leading to a lot of wasted marketing spend and time as well. And also just frustration, frustrating your sales teams that are chasing phantom leads. Service departments also likewise feel the pain, with each outdated record. It means missed opportunities to reconnect for services like recalls or scheduled maintenance. And then on the operation side as well, those inefficiencies really compound when employees are spending parts of their day, sometimes hours weekly, reconciling, some of those conflicting records, filling in the blanks, addressing duplicate information, instead of being able to focus on selling cars or booking service appointments. In fact, we do multiple surveys throughout the year, and in one of them, we really asked about the notion of of this unified data. And 65% of dealers said that having a unified customer profile is one of the most preferred and essential features that they need to be able to get that complete picture of customer intent and customer behavior. And in fact, 79% of those that identified that as essential and preferred are planning to actually implement a CDP within the next 12 months. So it is definitely the time is really now, and there's the urgency of AI, the urgency of having and leveraging the data. The customer data that you have within your systems and be able to leverage that is really kind of making the difference for success and really winning. Okay, so before we talk about our CDP here at CDK, I want to just level set and give you a basic understanding of what a CDP actually is. So a CDP, again, a customer data platform. Think of it as just a centralized system that is collecting, unifying, and managing your customer data from your dealership sources, right? Like I mentioned, the DMS, the CRM, service parts, and even those third-party systems. And what it's doing is it's collecting all of that, managing it, and it's creating this comprehensive, unified customer profile for that particular customer. So it's accurate, it's actionable, and it's continually being updated. So essentially, what a CDP does is it makes that customer data usable for marketing, for sales, for service, and analytics. And it really helps you be able to deliver very personalized and relevant customer experiences. And it really takes out all of the complexity, um, allowing that automation of AI and insights and efficiency. So CDP does all of this, but with one huge advantage, I would say, that it's really built in directly into the Dealership Experience Platform. So dealers don't need a separate system, any additional logins, or new workflows. It's all embedded, built in, as the name says. So with that, let's talk about our new built-in CDP. We're bringing all of that unified customer data and those AI-driven insights right into the workflows. We talked about the struggle of having that outdated, that just fragmented customer data that's spread across, all of the applications, DMS, inventory, service, digital retail, CRM, parts, making it really difficult to know your customers, causing a lot of those inefficiencies and those missed opportunities. And we talked about, it being a barrier for AI adoption. So our new built-in CDP really addresses all of these challenges by taking all of that data. You can kind of see at the bottom there, it's all of those sources of data, and bringing it in and collecting it within our CDK secure data platform, which is the platform, the engine, think of it, that does that cleansing, that unifying, that managing of all of that customer data across the dealership to create a unified customer profile. And we're leveraging AI and automation on top of it to really activate that data and surface insights that are accessible within existing workflows across the dealership, across sales and service and operations. And really, frankly, we're uniquely positioned to bring this level of capability and insights to our dealers. CDK has more data. We have the largest data set than anyone else in the industry. Our teams have processed about 1.3 billion customer records at the end of last year. And out of that, we have 257 million unique customer IDs. That's a big number, 257 million unique customer IDs. And just to put that into perspective for you, the US has roughly about 300 million registered vehicles. We have 257 unique customer IDs. So that means the majority of consumers, the majority of vehicles in the US are within our platform. And as I mentioned, our built-in CDP is natively built in, just like the name says, right? Which what that means is it's directly embedded across the Dealership Experience Platform. So we're bringing all of that enriched data across the Foundation Suite, the Modern Retail Suite, the Fixed Ops Suite, and Intelligence Suite. So we're not requiring dealers to adopt any new technology. It's all built in at no charge. So no new systems, like I mentioned, no new systems to install, to log into, or to learn. So bringing a lot of that efficiency right into the workflows. And as I mentioned, it's all of this unified customer profiles are being enriched with AI and automation to provide those insights that very much surface naturally across, sales and service and operations. So it's really important to us as we approach this to not disrupt those workflows, to make sure that we're embedding that those insights and that information for more efficiency, to help you be more profitable. And like I mentioned, we're going to showcase this to you. We're going to demo some features just in a little bit here. So by unifying all of that data across the departments, it's really giving you a more accurate picture to really know who your customers are, to be able to deliver that highly personalized, accurate, timely customer experience, hitting them at the right time with the right message in the right way, to really improve those close rates and maximize your time, your investments, strengthen that customer loyalty, all within your existing workflows. And like I mentioned, we're bringing all of this incredible capability and insights to our dealers, all built in at no charge. And one other thing before we move on to the features. Our built-in CDP is actually part of a larger CDP strategy that includes our built-in CDP as well as our enterprise CDP. So phase one is really this built-in CDP, which is what we just talked through, right? It's enriching that dealers' consumer data across our Dealership Experience Platform, in those different areas that I mentioned, the DMS, the CRM, inventory, parts, et cetera. So again, leveraging the customer data within the CDK platform. Phase two is an enterprise CDP, and you're going to hear more about this in the second half of the year. And the enterprise CDP is essentially, it's combining all the built-in CDP, all of that enriched data, with additional dealer-owned first-party data, as well as third-party data, authorized third-party data. So it's allowing dealers to bring in things that are outside the CDK ecosystem into this enterprise CDP for more extensive behavioral insights. So like I mentioned, you'll hear more about this the second half of the year, but we're really excited to be able to bring this built-in CDP to our dealers the first half of the year. So let's dive in and talk about what these built-in features look like and what it means to you. And we're going to start off with our CDP Insights, which is, think of it as our analytics powerhouse, where we've got these customer insights and predictive lifetime value that helps with dealer retention patterns, loyalty metrics, and engagement opportunities. And I'm going to let Brian Abrams, again, our VP of Data and Intelligence, talk a little bit more and give you a little show and tell of what CDP Insights looks like.
Thanks, Anu, and thanks for the intro. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining today. Like Anu said, I'm Brian Abrams. I'm Vice President of Data and AI Product Strategy at CDK Global. I know Anu has hyped everyone up about the new CDK CDP. So now I'm really excited to show you the new CDP Insights dashboard that's part of our built-in CDP. As you just heard, the CDP Insights dashboard is part of this bigger built-in CDP product that we're providing to dealers at no cost. And it provides enterprises and dealers with a powerful, insightful 360-degree view of all of their customers. And that 360-degree view is based on a unified customer profile, which eliminates all of the duplicate customer records that are littered throughout CDK applications and even non-CDK applications. All of the customer record duplication and data hygiene that comes along with it, because the data hygiene is one of the most important pieces to create these unified customer profiles. It's all powered by our modern unified data platform that works across the entire DXP. And it also contains all of the customer transactions from across your dealership and other data enrichments. Additionally, we've built predictive AI models which takes that customer data and other engagement signals of theirs to create predictive lifetime value metrics that is also part of that unified customer profile. So in a nutshell, what I'm about to show you is the CDP Insights dashboard, and it provides you and your employees to get the actionable insights you need for retention, loyalty, and profitability opportunities from that predictive lifetime value directly in your hands in the dashboard and also embedded into workflows. I'm going to pop up my screen real quick. All right, so as you can see, the CDP Insights dashboard is available in Unify for users that you allow permissions for. For users that do have access, it's going to empower those employees to personalize in-store experiences for your customers, empower your sales and marketing teams to create hyper-targeted engagements and marketing campaigns, and also enable dealership leaders and managers to make better decisions to increase profitability and lower those wasted spends. The best part about it is that not only will those users have access to the data and insights in this dashboard, they're also going to have those insights embedded into workflows throughout the Dealer Xperience Platform to empower all of your employees to make more informed decisions in that moment of truth with the customer. So for example, service managers or service advisors have these insights available in CDK service workflows when they're serving a customer in the service lane. So let's jump right in. So here you see the homepage of the CDP Insights dashboard, and we're on the Customer Insights overview, and it provides a comprehensive view for an enterprise or a store for customer retention, loyalty, and engagement to help dealers identify revenue opportunities and at-risk customer segments. It also helps dealers answer questions like, are customers servicing with us after they buy from us? And how much money am I leaving on the table if they don't? Which customers do we need to focus on for retention and profitability because they haven't engaged with our dealership in a long time? How much future sales and profitability depends on retaining customers that are doing business with us today? A good example of that is in this first chart right here. You can see how many customers you're selling cars to that aren't servicing with you. To the side, you can see for that group that is servicing with you, they have a predictive lifetime value of millions of dollars of gross profit. You want to work on keeping those customers engaged so you can recognize that profit. For the group that is not servicing with you, that gray area, that's the predictive gross profit that you're not capturing through sales to service loyalty. This is the perfect segment for you to focus your marketing and engagement on. Right below that, you can see your total amount of unified customer profiles in all of your CDK applications there, that 190,000. And off to the right here, you can see time-based segments of the last time that they transacted with your dealership. Once again, the perfect segment for you to engage and market to is that big red bucket over there to the right, because they have not transacted with your dealership in over 22 months. It's time to reach out to them and get them back in for sales or service. And lastly, same thing here with your segments of service customers who have not purchased vehicles from you. Another great opportunity for you to focus on that segment to convert them from not only just service customers, but also to sales customers as well. When you click on any of these charts, it's going to drill down into the customer list, which I'm going to show you here in a second. When I go down here a little bit further, you can see this map here, and this maps all of your customers geographically across all the dealerships if you're looking at an enterprise view. And if you're just looking for your store, you can see where they're spread out across the US, the state, or the market accordingly. And this helps you really focus and target your marketing efforts a lot better. You can see that when you go in here, you can drill down into zip codes. All of this is on a zip code level, and you can see how many sales you're getting in the various zip codes there. Now, heading to one of the most important parts of the built-in CDP and this dashboard, and we're going to dive in a little bit deeper, is this 360-degree view of all your customers. This section here gives you the full list of unified customer profiles with data and insights for them. You can see some examples here, how long they've been a customer, their total sales with you, total gross profit and margin, and then the predictive value and some other metrics there to the right. You're also able to drill down into a unified customer profile and get more personalized insights, which these are the ones that are embedded in the workflows for a customer in the service lane in the showroom. I'm going to look at Achel Bebek, who, funny enough, has probably had their name spelled wrong 20 times in the CRM or other CDK applications. But here it is a unified customer profile, as Anu was talking to earlier. So I'm going to drill down into Achel Bebek. You'll see up here this green check mark right here. This indicates that this is a unified customer profile that you're looking at. This is one record of Achel Bebek that collects all the multiple duplicate records that might be out there. And you'll see here on this unified customer profile breakdown, you see similar insights that you have an overview of the customer as well as breakdowns by sales and service. You can see at the top here, you see total sales to date, gross profits and margin alongside a predictive 5-year sales and gross profit for the customer right here. As you go down here, you can see other sales and gross profit trends, departmental breakdowns, tenure as a customer, and then also which stores they engaged with. On an enterprise level, you are able to see where Achel Bebek was doing business across your entire enterprise. In this example, you can only see that they were at one dealership. And then towards the bottom, you get a more detailed summary of sales, gross profit, and margin across more detailed areas of the dealership that matter to your profitability. Things like customer pay and warranty pay, as well as front and back gross on the variable operations side. Now I'm going to jump over to the sales tab here. When you look at the sales tab, whether it's for a unified customer profile or for all of them together for your dealership, It's all about sales, loyalty, and retention metrics. And you see some of these metrics up here and the predictive value for the sales department, along with some engagement trends and other metrics. And then at the very bottom, you see a full list of all the vehicles that Achel Bebek has purchased from you, along with a lot of details around it, whether they traded it in, what they did trade in, and then the front and gross back profit as well. And then finally, in the service tab, you see insights, predictive value, and breakdowns of sales and gross profit in the service department. You can see breakdowns by customer and warranty pay. And then at the bottom, you see the full details of all of the ROs, once again, that might be across multiple records. They're all here unified in one view for you, along with a whole lot of rich data and insights that measure your profitability for the customer. It includes breakdowns by customer pay gross profit, warranty pay profit, labor sales, part sales, and a whole lot more here. So you get a really full view of what that customer has done with you and how you can deliver a better customer experience. So to wrap up, the CDK CDP Insights dashboard is unifying sales and service data from across all of your dealership and adding that predictive intelligence to help you and your employees shift from backward-looking reporting to a forward-looking view of customer lifetime value, engagement, risk, and opportunities. It's going to help you focus on the right customers, protect future revenue, and build stronger and longer relationships with your customers. So I'm going to pass it back to Anu now, and thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. That's great. We're going to quickly go into our next demo, which is really, we talked about the powerhouse for analytics, which is CDP Insights. This is really the powerhouse for sales. It's a feature called My Day with AI Summary. And we've got Jason Munson, who is our product director of our CRM, joining us today to talk a little bit about My Day and give us a little demo. So Jason, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thanks, Anu. I'm gonna just grab the screen share here so we can get going. Well, hi everyone, I'm Jason Munson. I'm the Director of Product for the Modern Retail Suite. I'm gonna give you just a quick overview of My Day. This is our modernized sales workflow that we've brought to market and showed at NADA this past year. And as a part of this, I wanna give you one example of how we're surfacing some of the insights that we're gathering through the unified customer profile and through the built-in CDP. So you'll see here the problem that we're trying to solve with this My Day homepage experience was simplification. So you can see everything that a salesperson might need to get the context for their day and get organized. On the top left here, we have our appointments, and they can set up their appointments and they can change them. We have messaging on the top right here. This is now a unified messaging inbox that has texts and emails and videos all flowing in. And then at the bottom here, you have today's customers. What are some of the things that I need to do? In this case, I've selected my overdue tasks because I'm catching up this morning and want to kind of crank through those. On the right here, you'll see 3 bullets. This is one of the ways that we're starting to surface these insights. So this is actually an AI customer summary. And as we get into one of these profiles, I'll dig into that a little bit deeper. So let's see. Nicholas is coming to the showroom today at 5. So let's go in and click his customer record. The first thing to notice is that green check mark that Brian was showing you earlier on the Insights dashboards. This again is going to be something that you see throughout the CDK products, and it signifies that this record is pulling the information from the unified customer profile and that it is the most authoritative record for this person. So this is really part of the value of the built-in CDP is surfacing this functionality, these insights, and verifying that it's the right customer right into the CRM and our products. Below is the AI summary. So this is pulling all of the information from, again, that unified customer profile. In this case, we're pulling browsing behavior if you're on digital retail and you're looking at different vehicles. We're pulling in any vehicle that you might have listed for trade-in and said that you want to get a quote on. We're pulling in data from conversations. So we're landing now email, texting, and phone transcripts so that we can get those insights from them and surface them into the customer records. So you'll see here, for example, this customer, Nicholas, was originally interested in a Grand Cherokee 4xe, but did a little more research and is eventually changed to a Honda HR-V vehicle here. So besides this, on this page, we can also see that the salesperson can start communicating directly with the customer in the experience right here. And most importantly, as they're doing that, as they're drafting their new email or their text, they have all of the context that they need about this customer. Again, surfacing those insights that we want and need to have better conversations, more informed feedback and answers as we're talking to our customers. I'm going to wrap it up there because I know we're already over time, and I just want to circle back to see if there's any time for Q&A here. Anu?
I'm going to go through a couple additional features of the built-in CDP quickly because I do know we want to save some time for Q&A. One of the other features is it really has to do around managing customer records, which we know is a foundational capability. And this built-in CDP feature, it gives our modern DMS accounting users a consolidated view of their customer records, duplicates, household members, and past entries. So it allows specific roles permissions to be able to flag a primary record and to be able to remove those duplicates, and which really essentially also prevents new duplicates from getting created. And this is an area where dealers really first will feel the benefit of data governance, help preventing those downstream errors in service and sales and reporting, and also really helps build that trust of the data that they're using for decisioning. Another key built-in CDP feature that is coming later in Q2, so similar to My Day for sales that Jason talked through, Service Insights is really that powerhouse for fixed ops. And it's providing a snapshot of customer and vehicle. It also has an AI summary that's servicing both the customer as well as the vehicle insights for that at a glance view, like I said, similar to what Jason showed in My Day, to essentially really quickly know how to best engage customers, reducing that effort, and really empowering smarter service decisions. So more to come. Like I said, this is a feature that will be coming in Q2. And then I know later on in the year, they'll be adding customer lifetime value based on things like historic repair orders and more forward-looking predictive value. So service managers will be able to cater to customer needs better. Okay, so with that, that sort of wraps up our webinar around the CDP and unified customer data. And hopefully we gave you a lot of good information. I know that was a lot to digest in a short amount of time, but a lot of really great information to show you how CDK is addressing a lot of those challenges around that fragmented customer data, to be able to create a unified customer profile using AI and automation that is accessible within your existing workflows, enabling those real-time insights to surface naturally across sales and service and operations. And really by unifying all of that data across the departments, dealers are going to be able to deliver that highly personalized and more timely customer experience, improving those close rates, maximizing, time and investment again, and building those customer relationships to have that long-term loyalty, all within those workflows. And as I mentioned before, we're bringing all of this really great capability and insights to our dealers, all built in at no charge. And look for more information coming the second half of the year. As I mentioned before, phase one is our built-in CDP, and phase two is our enterprise CDP. I also want to plug what you see on the screen here. We have 6 more webinars that we're going to be hosting over the next 6 to 7 weeks. So tune in. You've got a link there if you would like to register and see what the additional webinars are. They are going to be on the same day on Tuesdays at noon Central Standard Time. So with that, I want to thank you guys for your time and attention today. Really appreciate that. And we will open it up to some Q&A. So let's take a look here. Brian, I'm going to start off with you. There's a question that's come in that has to do with predictive customer lifetime value. And essentially, it's really how are you coming up? How are you determining the predictive customer lifetime value?
Yeah, so as you guys have heard throughout the last year, even more, we've significantly scaled and matured our AI platform and the ML models that are powering a lot of the predictions that you see in our products today. So predictive customer lifetime value is no different working on our AI platform. So it's using advanced machine learning models that analyze a lot of historical and real-time data, as well as some other signals that are coming into the model. It looks for patterns in customer purchases, service visits, engagement behavior, and other signals that all go into the model and then predict the future value. And as you saw on the screen, you saw a range there because there's an upper bound and a lower bound of it. I think it would be a little strange and not very, very good of us to give a penny perfect prediction because there's a lot of things that go into that. But the important thing is that this model is continuously being tuned based on the customer's engagement and any other transactions and signals that are happening. And that customer lifetime value, that predictive lifetime value is consistently changing, in that range for a specific customer as those things happen.
That's great. That's great. I see there's some questions around timing, quite a few questions around timing. I'm just going to address that. So we are in pilot with these features that we showcased, particularly CDP Insights and My Day with the AI summary. We're in pilot currently, and the plan is later in Q1 that those will start rolling out to our existing customers. And then Service Insights that I, at the very end, kind of talked through, that is going to be in pilot in Q2. There was also questions about Enterprise CDP. So Enterprise CDP is coming the second half of the year. So first half, built-in CDP, second half, Enterprise CDP. There's also questions around the delineation. So I'm going to give a quick delineation between the two. Built-in CDP is all of the your dealer's customer records that exists within our CDK Dealership Experience Platform. So if you have our CDK DMS, our CRM, our service, all of the different applications within the CDK ecosystem, that all of that data is being unified to create that unified customer profile. That's part of our built-in CDP. And so we're leveraging the insights that we're getting, the features, again, across those different areas of the dealership that touches. Enterprise CDP is that, plus it allows dealers to bring in their sort of BYOD, bring your own data, additional first-party data that sits outside of the CDK system, as well as authorized third-party data. So like I mentioned, more to come on that second half of the year. Jason, there's a question around My Day. Around how tangibly is it helping sales teams move faster?
Yeah, so in terms of My Day overall, and I guess specifically, let's talk about the AI summary. We did do some measurement around the impact from an efficiency perspective, and we saw improvements in ability in speed of making phone calls, texts, emails, and setting appointments pretty much across the board. In aggregate, I think we landed on about a minute faster in terms of taking the next best action, for that salesperson, and again, making that phone call, sending that text, sending an email, because they have all of that context immediately available for them that they can scan quickly and make a decision on what to do. So there you go.
That's great. Okay. There's a couple questions that have to do with, is the built-in CDP included? And, it has to do with cost and what we're paying for. So if you are a CDK DXP customer, this is truly built in. We're not charging for this. It is the value that we're bringing our dealers that are a customer of CDK in the Dealership Experience Platform. So think Foundation Suite, Modern Retail Suite, Intelligence Suite, Fixed Op Suite. All of those insights are being built in and embedded in those different areas within the workflows. And there was a couple folks that raised their hand. What I would say is we're not doing all the audience is muted on this particular webinar. So if you could put your questions in the chat feature or the Q&A feature, that would be great. We'll get to those. There was a question about availability, if this was available for Canadian dealers. I don't know, Brian, if you want to take that, or Jason.
So we're starting with US dealers right now, and Canada is going to be a very, very fast follower based on the timelines that Anu was talking about in the first half of this year.
Yeah, from a AI summary perspective, my day, all of the functionality that I demoed today will be available to the Canadian market as well.
Great. Brian, there's some questions around data hygiene and enrichment. I'm seeing quite a few questions around that. Is there anything you can kind of a little bit more technical behind the scenes around how our secure data platform is sort of managing that data and the things that we're doing to have good data hygiene?
Yeah, sure. So, all of this doesn't work without a really good foundation of a data platform, which is what we built here that's powering all of this on top of our unified data platform. In terms of how we're unifying the customer profile, there's a lot of technical things around that, but we do have a service with a third party that is deduping those customer records in real time. So it's looking for things like first name, last name, email, phone number, address. Those sorts of things are all being worked through this service in real time, which ultimately leads to us getting to a single unified customer profile that you just saw throughout the demo.
That's great. There are some questions around marketing, like to the audiences and segmentation and some of that marketing automation. That is something that is coming with the enterprise CDP more so, being able to really do that segmentation. Again, Brian, I don't know if you want to touch at all on that, or just defer to what we'll be bringing forth the second half of the year.
Yeah, I think looking at those questions, that really falls into the enterprise CDP bucket that Anu was saying. From a built-in perspective, and Jason can chime in on this, we do have activation inside of our own CRM through email, text, and some mailers. From an enterprise standpoint, that's where we're focusing on how we expand the activation outside of the CDK ecosystem.
Yeah, from a CRM perspective, in terms of activation, there's writing assistant, next best action, feature functionality set that will be able to take advantage of those insights and start to help the salesperson with communication more so than we're already doing with the writing assistant that's available now.
That's great. It looks like we maybe have time to take maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll wrap it up because we do want to be sensitive to everyone's time. There is as kind of questions around some duplications and merging of records. That's kind of what I touched on with that CDP feature around managing records. That allows, it's sort of permissions based and it'll allow users to be able to go in and set a primary record to really look at household information as well, to be able to give dealers really the control to be able to manage that in a much more effective and efficient way. That will be rolling out later this quarter. And then you'll see more, the team is working on, how they're automating that and leveraging AI in that as well to make that streamlined and more efficient of a process. So more to come on that, but that'll really help. Like I mentioned, that's kind of the first tool that we're giving dealers for the data governance aspect.
Yeah. And if I could add something to that, Anu, what that question and what you described and what you showed on the slides about merging and deduping and putting the control into the dealer's hands, that is what we're building. But everything that I talked through on our data platform and the insights and the AI and all of those different things that have a unified customer profile, it is two separate things. We are unifying that data together to provide everything that I was showing you and more. But what Anu is talking about with the new tool that's coming, that allows you to do it actually in your dealership operations and flows. And all of that comes down into the data platform where I'm playing right now.
Well, I want to thank you guys. I think we're a little bit over our time. So I want to thank you guys for hanging in there. Appreciate, like I said, the time that you're taking to really understand the value of our built-in CDP. And if you can tune in to take a look at some of the other webinars that we have coming up in the coming weeks, that would be great. And have a great rest of your afternoon and day.